Hey everyone, this is Julie Murphy, and we just finished doing another section with the background fill and the pumpkin that I showed you how to do in part one, and then I showed you an alternate way to do the placement of the pumpkin in part 1.5. This one is actually going to show you how to fill this in with just background stitches. Here we are at our main screen. We're going to go into embroidery and we're going to go into my design center, and we have three different scan buttons. We have it if we want to do a line illustration, a regular illustration, and then we have just a scan button. For what we're working on now, we're just going to be scanning in our fabric so that we can place boundary points around our triangle. So let's go ahead and scan. Now we're back at our screen that has our scanned fabric. Let's remember our buttons down here. This one shows us our stitches that we have in the system. That has the light flower with the dark green dot. As you can see, we don't have any stitches yet. This direction darkens our background. We want to go ahead and zoom in using our zoom button up here. And this is our viewing window. And what we're going to do is we're going to place a couple of boundary points to tell the system, tell our machines where not to stitch. In our line property box, we have our pencil, we have our bucket, and we have our notepad. And we have our, it looks like a large zigzag or a lightning bolt. I like to refer to it as either a lightning bolt or my boundary points. So we select that, and we have to remember to go down here and select no stitch. And it grays out our colors. We'll go back to OK. And now we're at our screen, and over here in the line property box we have our boundary point, or we have our bucket. Since we're trying to actually establish a boundary, we're going to place the first point, and you'll notice that there's really nothing there until I make another boundary point. The fabric line is not exactly straight. I think I might place a couple of boundary points along here. And actually I'm not really happy with that, so I'm going to go back and start over. Okay, since I hit my undo button twice, I don't have any boundary points on the screen yet. So let's place our first one. Some people are wondering why we have a white mark and these gray marks. Let me gray it out so you can see. So you see how if we gray it out, we have a red mark and our gray mark. The red mark is just letting us know where we need to go to get back to our starting point so that we can close our shape. Let me zoom in just a little bit for you. So you see the gray and then this red mark. So let's zoom back out and darken our background. So we'll keep making our boundary points until we're able to close our shape. And now you'll notice that our white mark or red mark is gone. Let's zoom back out. And now we're ready to go in. We have our boundary line, and we want to fill this whole shape with either stippling or a pattern. Now we're going to go into our regions area. So we're going to hit our notepad, And let's see, for this, I think I want to look at the patterns. Okay, and these are our choices. These are our choices for fills that we have on our machines before the second upgrade. And we did leaves the first time. And for this one, I think I'll go with the circles and see how that looks. Just because we're selecting it doesn't mean we have to stick with it. I'm going to change the color to blue so I can see it on the screen. And then you have your choice of a paintbrush that has the dark green behind it, or if you choose the bucket, it is now illuminated dark green. So once we've chosen our bucket and our circles, we will touch in between the boundary lines. So let's see here. Let's go into the next screen. And I think I'm going to increase the circles by 10%. Maybe 20%. No. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and increase them to 115%. I am going to leave the outline on. I'm going to set it. What I think I need to do though, I don't know if you can see how this has it at this very odd shape. I'm going to check the preview and see if we really have a small one here and a whole one at the bottom. If we do, then I'm probably going to change the angle of our circles so that they work more with what I would like to see. We do. So you can see, let me zoom in so you can see. Here at the top we have this little tiny sliver, and if you follow it down, you'll see we have this big circle at the bottom. About the only way we can deal with that is to change the angle of our circles. So as long as we don't hit set, here at the bottom, we can do return. And I want to change the angle. Let's go ahead and make it more of a 30-degree angle. See how that looks. And we'll set it and preview. Let's zoom in a little bit. Actually, let me take the background out so you can see a little bit better. So you can see we have our circles are now on this angle. I think I want to return one more time and just see, does it make any difference if I go with a slightly greater angle? That's looking a lot better. Do you notice we still have our differences in circles, but let's go back and make one more change. Remember we had set it at 115%. Let's back that down to 100%. And so we now have 100% for our size of the circles, a 45-degree angle, and our outline is on. Still not thrilled with these little tiny circles here, but I do have much better circles going this direction. Let me make one more adjustment. I'm much happier with this one. Even though we've got a few little places where it's peeking out, at least we have these nice circles all along the edge and the bottom. So that's at 105% with a 45-degree angle, and our outline is on. So let's go ahead and hit set and OK. And once we do embroidery, you can see why I was having trouble getting the circles just right. You can see this is our outline, and if you'll notice the design window, our triangle is not exactly straight on our hoop, so it allowed for that angle. So let's hit embroidery, and everything is set to go, And now we'll go over to the machine and stitch it out. We're ready to stitch out. This section is now finished with the background fill, and we'll move on to another section. Thanks for watching.